Because men like you came to God, and God make wonders out of them. In fact, when he sent the apostles 2 by 2, when they came back, say, Father, thank you for using mere men. You have not used the Pharisees and the Sadducees that know too much. You use this one that know nothing. The Bible begins to speak about the mighty things that the mighty men of David do. I know by now you know the story of the men like Shammah and Dodo, Agag, and all of them. How many giants they slay. They stood by garrisons and they war. And there was nothing that David could do that these mighty men could not do. But these were men that were afraid from the beginning. These were men that were nothing from the beginning. See, I am guaranteed that the next generation that God will raise, they are going to be more stronger than us, more powerful than us. We can fight them, we can talk anything we want to talk. God won't stop what he's doing. Because God needs more than 1,000 of us. Imagine the population of the earth. Imagine the population of Nigeria. How many genuine voices do you think we need? If you are going to count accurate, genuine, apostolic, prophetic voices, how many will you count? You will now realize that God needs to recruit many people. God needs many that can go again in isolation and be quarantined into a cave again. But many of us are not willing to submit ourselves to a system and a custodian for making. And that's what I'm trying to let you understand. The Garden of Flames Christian Center may not necessarily be your intention, but I'm just trying to let you understand that this is actually a cave where men are made out of the books. And anytime God wants to do a thing in a region, there is always a cave, an equipping center, a nexus, an epicenter where men are built. And until you find yourself within a citadel such as that, you may never survive. I don't know what other men were doing, but those that found themselves in a cave called Adullam, after a while, their life became a testimony that there was a reality of a stone of help. I don't know about those that were in the under room, but I know about the story of the few that isolated themselves to the upper room. And those that found themselves in the upper room, they found themselves within another kind of secular civilization, another kind of ecosystem that was of different advantage than those on the under room. Those on the other room were still dancing and gallivanting, but they never knew that there was a thundering upon the upper room. A numbering was going on, and yet again they were excluded and they never knew. And God was not generous enough to say, hey, there is more people actually, but they dies in the under room. Let's go there. No, because God have no restraint. He can put the strength of 10 men upon one man. He can put the strength of 1,000 upon one man. It's not because God just only want to work with those 12. It was because there were few of them that were willing to yield themselves. Men are institutions that God used to recruit men. Accurate men will point you to God. They won't point you to themselves. They will teach you the same pattern of how God encountered them. When the Lord appeared to me, say, Philip, Cephas, the same way I reveal myself to you is the same way I will reveal myself to the next generation. What it means is that many of our fathers take away the sacrifice they went through and they're trying to present to us what looks like a lie. If you decree it, it doesn't work, you don't have faith. But there was a time you have been decreeing and decree, it doesn't work. And you remain. So what then is faith? Because when you read the Chronicles in the book of Hebrews chapter 11, there were those that had faith and yet again with everything they do, they did not get anything. There were some that by their faith, they did this, they did that. But some through faith, they endure. Some through faith, they just became pillars and foundations for others. Some through faith, they stood their ground. In fact, some through faith, they died. And these ones that through their faith, they obtained nothing but lay foundation. Their story was never complete until others came and built upon. So you wonder why you are trying to sleep and you are seeing certain spiritual men appear at night. You are seeing certain elders appear. It's because their ministry is not complete, although they gather 1 million members except with you. So you are an extension of who they are upon the face of the earth. And so when we talk about the matters of faith, we should not just be looking at the things that eyes can see and ears can hear, because there are things that we have yet to see and to hear. For eyes have not seen and ears have heard the things God has preserved. So the things we see at walking upon the face of the earth now are the things we have seen and heard What about the things that are yet to be communicated? Who are those that are going to journey beyond to bring them to reality? And beyond just we clamoring on those things that are working now, can we look beyond now and know that deep can call on to deep and we can fetch again? But that is only possible when we know the stone of help. Because everything we see upon the landscape that we point to men as pillars of those realities, we are actually a possibility that lies in God. When we speak about the word of faith movement, of course, we know people to call. When we speak about the healing movement, we know who to call. But we can never speak about the apostolic and the prophetic within the landscape of Nigeria and not mention either Apostle Joshua Salma or Apostle Adam Elsai. They were the ones that gave us full-fledged manifestations of this possibility and give it the liberty of spirit. You may hate and not like them, it doesn't matter. But I'm trying to let you understand that anytime God wants to do something new, there are men He put as custodians of those possibilities. And it's not because He wanted to begin with them. He has begun with so many people, but they could not understand the burden to bear it. But this thing does not just end with this man. Where are the people that are supposed to bring to us again another level of layers of operations? We never knew about chant in the spirit until men like Chris Delvan, Daddy Chris Delvan rose. In those days when we were in Zaria, anytime he come, because you know, my local church there was God Life Assembly. Pastor Chintok is my pastor. You know, then in Zaria, when Daddy Chris Delvan comes, he begins to tell us his stories. How they were smokers and drunkards in this campus until they met the Holy Ghost. And when they met the Holy Ghost, they now realized Christianity was not that boring the way they preached to them. And they now realized that the Holy Ghost is flexible. So Daddy can put cap and enter church. There was a day he came to our campus and he said they should play in P-Square. They play P-Square. After P-Square, people gather for crusade. He now said, "Why stop P-Square now?" He began to chant. And people began to cry. He said, "You came to see P-Square, but I come to give you the Holy Ghost." He said, "I now begin to see another kind of manifestation." And he can come to a place, he may not talk about Jesus himself. So we now begin to see that there are other ways to sing songs apart from looking for lyrics for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks. There are other ways to communicate spirit and life other than what we knew. The patterns of ministry change, the pattern of church change, administration change. Everything now became spirit and life. We are now returning back to the real apostolic culture. How that by the time men gather together, whether in a house, in a conclave, there is no need for one savior, sincere kind of order. All those too much organization that we organize God out of it. There was liberty of the spirit. And one comes with sounds, one comes with hymns, one comes with melodies. And there are all kinds of dimension and expression. We came to a point where we have portrayed ourselves much, and we have neglected the stone of help. And all of us must have to return back to the books if another set of people must rise. And the day God wants to unleash another kind of possibility, He restored upon the shoulders of certain men. And these men brought to us this possibility so that we can be able to clamor upon. There was a time everybody wanted to be an evangelist. There was a time everybody wanted to be like Ben Hinn. Everybody wanted to be like Mama Kachokoma. By the time we began to advance, we now begin to see the apostolic and the prophetic movement. Yet again, there may be all kinds of mishap. There can be all kinds of misfeed. But in the midst of what the devil is trying to pervert, there is the genuity of the operations of God. And our job is to be able to decipher and discern what part do we have to play. Because every house functions by the grace that each joint supply. Our success and excellence as a body is when each and every one of us is unleashed.